It is the 9th of January, 2021, and this is our January meeting of the East Valley Association of Computer Clubs. And I'm Ron Brown. The meeting is being recorded, and you will be able to play it back and watch it as you can with the last 2 or 3 new ones we've done. They're all available, and we actually had about 30 people watch it, Bob. So Bob and I co-host EVACC. Bob, do you want to wave and say hello? Great. And so I sent an agenda out to everybody so that we could have a little bit of an agenda on what we're going to do, and we'll talk about some of the things that have happened this past year, and then we will anyway we'll move next to Bob. Did you want to give us an update on the website?
I can give you a little bit of update. Some of the I recently was able to add a little bit of EVACC history to the About page on EVACC. Bud Raleigh put together a couple of paragraphs explaining how it was formed originally and a little bit of background about it. So if you get a chance, you can go out and look at that. It's on the About tab that's at the top.
Do you want to share your screen? I made you co-host. If you want to share your screen, you could
Sure
you could bring that up and you could show us.
We have to learn all this stuff.
Oh, you're joining us? You're going to.
Let me get to a browser, probably. Okay, so.
And then at the bottom, just hit the share screen and you should be able to.
Yeah, I'm trying to find which one's the browser. That's the problem. There it is. Let me see if that's going to share it.
Yep, we can see it.
There we go.
Yep, you're fine.
Okay, so here's the home page, and here's the address to get to it. It's not a very friendly address, but it's the best we can do. We're using Google Sites to host the website. On the left-hand side are all the member clubs that I'm aware of. If you sign into Google, you can look at the actual forum that's out here. And I'm surprised I was on Google earlier, so I thought I had it all set up. But up here on the top, we've got a couple of categories. And if you go to the About tab, here's the EVACC story that Bud put together. And so you can read through that. He gave some pretty good history about how it got created and what his involvement was. And he also talked about some of the other people that we've had kind of lead the group, including Carl Sims. And I just recently discovered that Carl passed away what did we find, Ron? Last January or February?
I think it was January.
I couldn't find any details about it. It was just a small blurb on one of the funeral homes that just said he had passed away, but there was no obituary or anything at that time.
Just bring it down, scroll down a bit more so we can see the pictures at the bottom there.
There's some of the culprits that have been involved in it. I couldn't find a better picture for Ron.
I'll send you one.
Okay. I had to use one, and it's a little fuzzy because I had to crop it quite a bit. So here's how you join the group. In case anybody gets down to it, they can join. How to ask to join the group. But very interesting background on how this group actually got formed several years ago. It looks like early 1990s is when Bud started it. So that's that. In resources, I have updated a little bit of that. There's an index here at the top that will jump you down to more detail. So if I go to Tech for Seniors, it takes me down to here where we've got the website for Tech for Seniors and the YouTube channel. I tried to do, if there's a website for this group, I included it. And if they've got a YouTube channel, I included a link to the YouTube channel.
That got so I read
So actually, in most of them where I can, I put the playlist that they have together. So here you can, Tech for Seniors, you can go back and look at the early Tech for Seniors episodes in the order that they were actually given, recorded. So you could look at that. Couple of the others that I've run into that seem to be pretty helpful, offering various clubs YouTube videos that we could do it, show at tech meetings. And so what I'm looking for, I think, is just any input as to if you've got a site that offers some good tech videos and you feel it's worthy of adding to this list, don't hesitate sending it to the forum and I will get it added into the group. Okay. So that's that. There is a section that's got quick reference guides. I ran across this several years ago and they're very well done. And so if you go over here and I click on the Zoom reference guide, this is a nice handy handout. It's a 2-page, you can make it a 2-page handout that shows various features on Zoom meetings. Talks about the interface and some of the things you can do with it.
Put that on our website too. So check.
So there's a link to this on there. You can get that. There's all kinds of Google Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Access, Excel, the Microsoft Office suite. There's even a Windows 10. Anybody's interested in that. There's a little bit of a handout, quick reference guide right here. So they're all about the same. They're well done handouts, I think. There's a whole section on Windows 10. Let's go back up here and take a look. Windows 10 has got various sections, and even on Chromebooks, I have some sections in here that Ron has got some various videos on Chromebooks.
You have, we should give you the link for Huey and I do the Learning Chromebooks once a month. I should give you the information on that. We can put it up there because that's a weekly or monthly show we do.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
That'll be good. I think it works best if you put the playlist up there where people can, they've got the whole list over on the right-hand side of all the videos that way. That's a pretty concise way of looking at things. It saves having to do searches, I think.
Excellent. Yep.
So that's what's on the resource page. The events page is a link to the Google Calendar that EVAC's got. It is intended if you've got an event or know of an event that's going to be open to public, open to other EVAC members, we can put that out here and show it on the calendar. So I've got one that's avoid scams. That is the booters, computer booters coming up next week. Tech for Seniors is listed. Learning Chromebooks.
Oh, there we go. Yep, that's good. Yep, that's good. Yep.
Here's another, I think, getting organized with OneNote. Again, it's sponsored by Computer Booters. I think it's one of the Microsoft workshops that they're coordinating. So yeah, there's a way to do it. I think if you go down to the very bottom of the calendar to the plus sign, I think anybody should be able to add an event to the calendar. I think. I'm not positive. If you can't add it, you can put it out on the forum and I'll get it put into the calendar from there if you can't get it in the calendar. Okay.
Excellent.
So that's about the only changes that I've made since our last meeting.
That's great, Bob. It looks really good. I'm very impressed with that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent job, Bob.
Yeah.
Any suggestions, send them to the forum. If you've got things you think we should add that will help all the member clubs, we can add more stuff.
Excellent.
Okay.
For sure. Excellent. Thank you. Do you want to stop sharing? Just hit the stop share and then we'll go back.
Yeah, if I can get there.
It'll just be a button at the bottom of the.
Look at the screen.
Did I not do it right?
Nope, you're still sharing. There you go. There you go.
There we
Great.
go.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is I had the first hybrid meeting at Mesa Regal this week, and I thought it was very interesting. And I asked Scott Lockwood to come. He's the president of the club, and quite a progressive fella. He's very, very good. But it was late. I guess it was a late request, and he's probably busy this morning, but he's the president of the club. Now, I don't know how many of you have been excuse me, have been up to Mesa Regal, but Mesa Regal is decided to have in-person meetings this year as well as Zoom meetings. So they're having both meetings. So they actually have people at Mesa Regal, and they meet every Thursday, and they meet in Royal Hall. And I've been up and talked to them for years. I've talked to them many, many, many times. And Bob, you probably were at Royal Hall many times. You know it well.
Quite often, yes.
Yeah. So they decided to have a hybrid meeting, and they would have people in Royal Hall, and then they would also have them as a Zoom meeting for people that were not at Mesa Regal. So they talked to me about it, and I said, sure. I thought it would work just fine. So they had about 12 people in the hall. There wasn't a huge number. And they had tables set up, and then they had a laptop. And the biggest problem, of course, was the audio visual. And they have a system where they can plug into the laptop and it displays on a big screen. They have a projector and it displays, which is not a problem. But they always have a bit of problem with the audio part, right? And so it was, so they were worried about that. And I said, well, look, just get some plain ordinary speakers and plug them into the laptop. I said, back in the old days, when you bought a computer, you got free speakers with it. Remember that? You bought an old PC and you got free speakers. I must have had 6 or 8 pairs of speakers sitting around here for years and years. And I finally threw them all out, took them down to recycling and got rid of them. So if you do have some around, you might want to take them down to Mesa if you're going down there, and then you can use them in your club. So they found someone that had a pair of speakers and they just plugged it into the laptop, and that worked quite well. So they came on as part of the Zoom meeting, and then they were able to follow through the presentation, right? And so I did the presentation as a Zoom meeting, and then they had probably 10 or 12 people who were also part of the regular Zoom meeting that weren't actually at Mesa Regal. So it was a hybrid meeting. There were physical people at Mesa Regal, and there were people that came in as a Zoom. So I thought I would just bring this up for everybody to just give you an idea of that's an idea that you could try. It did work out well in this case. I think they're going to do it on a regular basis now because there will be a combination of people at, physically there and people that aren't there. So does anyone have any questions? Is any other clubs? Yeah, Carol.
How many actually came to this hybrid meeting, and how often does Mesa Regal hold their computer meetings?
Now, Mesa Regal usually has their, is it weekly? I think they're weekly. I think it's weekly. It's on Thursday morning. How often they're going to do it? I wish Scott was here because I don't know that. I don't know how often they're going to do it. What was your other question? How many came? There was about, I think there was about 10 or 12 there in Royal Hall, and I don't really know how they had them spaced. I think they were spaced quite far apart because it didn't really matter.
That park is nice.
Yeah, Royal Hall's a big place.
From us.
Yeah, Royal Hall's a big auditorium, so it would be easily as big as maybe not quite as big as ours because it's I think they have a bigger one, but that's the Royal Hall isn't huge, but you could easily space them out, and that was fine. So that was interesting, and it worked very well. Chris, do you have a question?
I guess I got a question and a comment. When I look at a Zoom program, and I do everything wirelessly as I can, and I screen share it to my TV set, the audio stays with the screen sharing device, whether it's a computer or it's a, but however, when I do that with a Zoom meeting, the audio goes up to the TV device. Is there any clue anybody has? You seem to have the same problem with the speakers with a Zoom meeting. What does anybody know what's going on?
Well, speaking like what I'm speaking and you're talking, I mean, it all goes through the Zoom meeting. The Zoom actually does a very good job with audio control. We don't have any trouble. The audio is usually not a problem.
Well, the audio doesn't screen share. That's all they from Zoom, but it does.
Pick up our sound?
The audio actually does screen share, because if you do share your screen and you're playing a video off the shared screen, that audio goes into the system audio and plays out to all the people.
We're going wirelessly now. We're going wirelessly from the phone.
Mm-hmm. You can certainly do a Zoom meeting from a phone as well. So,
but don't you have to select the audio when you sign into Zoom?
Yeah, you have to decide.
Or you can change the audio. Maybe it's a better way of putting it.
Yeah, you can change the audio to whatever you want. I typically leave my audio on the system audio, which is, on my laptop. I don't really, doesn't matter to me. I just leave it as system audio, which you could just plug your speakers into that and have big external speakers if you wanted. So I don't think I think it technically is pretty easy to do. They even had problems when they didn't have a Zoom meeting, and they have sort of a weirdo audio system that sort of goes through a central PA system in Royal Hall. So it's sort of a goofy system, and they always have problems with it. So it wasn't an issue of the hybrid meeting. It was more of an issue of their weirdo audio system they have. So plugging the speakers in worked just fine. And everyone seemed happy with how it went. Scott was pretty pleased with it. So I just thought I'd let you know that we did do it, and it did work out quite well. So it might be a thought if we're getting, because what's going to happen, I don't know if everyone's thought about this, but when we do get back and we do start having physical meetings again, in-house meetings, there probably will still be lots of people who would like to continue on having the Zoom meetings and doing Zooming, right? I don't think this is going to go away. And I think if you say no more Zoom and we're just going to have physical in-house meeting, you're going to lose a lot of folks. I think it's better to keep doing this. So we should be thinking about this for future. Any comments on that?
Ron, I don't want to hear about COVID. I don't want to hear about Zoom. It's like I want to crawl out of this shell and literally see people.
Ron, I have a question about Mesa Regal.
Yes, Jerry, go ahead.
I believe we still have a restriction in Arizona on the number of people that can be in any one gathering, and I can't remember whether it's 10 or 25, but I wonder how people are adhering to that. Did they say anything? We've averaged,
but I don't think their numbers were big enough. Like they only had in Royal Hall, we only had 10 or 12 people. Like I don't remember, it wasn't a lot of people they had in there, so it was probably within the.
Arizona's leading the nation in cases. It's averaged over 8,000 the last 2 days.
Yeah. And it's not I'm just pointing this out as a possible way of doing it. I'm not saying it's the right way or the wrong way. It's just it just did occur.
It is.
Yeah.
Right.
Chris?
But Jerry, I'm sorry, Ron, go ahead.
Chris, go ahead.
Our community has been doing a lot of Zoom meetings, and they're putting the board, for example, all in a hall, and they have I don't know exactly what the problem was, but they have awful problems with audio feedback because they're all on their own computers and trying to run it, and it's feeding back all over the place, and I don't know what they're doing about it, but that is a problem apparently if you have more than one mic open in the hall. Does anybody know anything about that? I see Bob shaking his head over there.
Yeah, well, I can attest to that. I mean, if you were going to have a Zoom, you wouldn't want to put someone in a hall and have everybody logged in on their own computers, because you're going to get terrible feedback. You can't even in my studio here, if I hook my Chromebook up and I log in on my Chromebook and I have my regular PC as well on, I'll get you can't run the audio on both. You'll get terrible feedback. You can't do that.
You have to be out of voice range at least, I believe.
Yeah,
'Cause it picks it up quickly. I mean,
quickly.
yeah,
It won't, you
you're gonna
can't,
get feedback.
yeah,
Simple rule, one audio input, one audio output. You can't
Yeah.
have more than one.
that's right. All right, all right, is there any other questions on the hybrid meetings and how it went, so on and so forth? It did go well, and I think everyone had a good time, so that worked out well. All right, the third thing on the agenda is actually Bob, and as you know, Bob is our security expert, and he usually comes around to all our parks and gives a chat. But this year he's staying at home. So, Bob, do you want to tell them what you're doing and how I don't know if you saw, but I did send all your contact information out this morning, and I did send a copy of your presentation as well out. So I think everyone should have this.
Basically, we're going to talk about cybersecurity and is it really important and why it actually is more important now than it has ever been. When you consider that there are more infectious sectors available, all of us are connecting via Zoom. People are working from home. So there are so many more places that the bad guys have available. Whoop.
It echoes.
Michael.
Go ahead, Bob.
Somebody said something about an echo.
No, that was Carol. Carol, you have to. We get.
It's not me, it's my husband here.
Yeah. Every time he talks, we can hear.
Yeah.
Just mute yourself if you want to talk. There you go.
Hey,
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Bad guys have many, many more threat vectors where they can attack us, especially now with everybody working from home. So security is more important now than it has ever been. I'm sure that over the years, since I've been doing this now, this is year number 11 for me. And many of your clubs, I've been coming there on a regular basis. Of course, this year is going to be different from all the others. No in-person until the clubs open up again. And between now and then, it is going to be via Zoom. But nothing changes. It's still an interactive presentation. I see you, you see me. If you have a question, you can still ask just as you did before, except I'm not there in person. But we are connected via Zoom. So my presentation is new, but it hasn't changed as far as the format. I try to keep it geared toward the average computer user rather than the geek. I try to intermix some funny stuff along with the serious stuff, but we do have to cover the serious points. Does anyone have any questions for me? Now, it did mail out an invitation or a request to do a presentation to the clubs. I have not gotten the usual response. I also know some clubs are no longer meeting. They're waiting until COVID is over and you go back to meeting in person. The problem is if you wait too long, there may not be any people to come back when you do decide to have meetings. And the best way to keep people together is to do it via Zoom.
Bob, how long is your presentation?
About with questions and answers, 45 minutes. Presentation itself is a half an hour.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry, have you had Bob before? Have you had him speak?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm just starting on my schedule. In fact, I'm waiting. I've got one guest speaker that was coming here in person. And so I've reached out to them and they're going to do Zoom presentations. I'm just waiting to nail down those dates because she usually comes in once a month.
Okay.
Before I then reach out to others to do guest speaking.
Bob, do you want to unshare your screen, Bob? We'll just so we can see again. Bob has done this for many. I think everybody knows Bob. I don't know if you haven't actually had him come to your club, but he does this. He's been doing this for a very long time. He's a very polished speaker. It's very concise. He knows all the technology, and that's why he comes with Tech for Senior, right, Bob?
Or fun once a week. Yep.
That's right. We get to do this once a week with Bob. Yeah. So anyway, but he's very good, and it's all free. There's no you don't have to pay for him coming. Normally he physically comes there, but in this case, of course, he will be there in mind and vision and speech, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. But we'll be there. So if you want to, and I got to get going on this too. The problem is when you're doing this virtually, it doesn't, you sort of tend to drag your feet, and I got to get you booked because I haven't even booked you for our club yet, so I got to get on with this and get it done. So,
right.
So we'll do that. So if you please, if you're doing virtual meetings, get booked with Bob and get it done.
I have a quick one.
Go ahead.
We owe our club's been going for 38 years on Monday morning on Arizona time at 9 o'clock, which overlaps with Tech for Seniors. So I guess this is Bob. Is there any way to get this thing as a recording, or would you rather get up earlier in the morning if somehow we can adjust our time? That's difficult for us.
No, it's just as easy because I record the portion that I do, and somebody else will have to fill in and be their gendarme for that one Monday. I would much rather do yours via Zoom at its scheduled 9 o'clock time. And 1 week, Ron will be doing without me. He'll get my recording and he can play it. He does it for most other people, so.
I won't do that to Ron.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll work on that.
If you guys want to do it earlier, I mean, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. So for me, it's not a big deal. But I don't know whether or not you guys would wind up be willing to get up an hour earlier.
Bob, what time zone are you in?
Same as you. At least right now.
Yeah, he's in New Mexico.
I'm in New Mexico. So right now we're on the same time zone.
Thank you.
Carol, did you have a question?
Yeah, just a comment. Just speaking as a club president, Bob has given our club at Silver Ridge many presentations throughout the year, every year. And his presentations are concise, they're down to earth. They're given in a way that seniors can understand. They're not over their heads, and he answers their questions, very thoroughly, and they walk away. He's not a presenter that wants to push a vast and sell them something, and they always walk away feeling that they've learned something every year. So it's not the same old, oh, Bob, geez, here again type. They always walk away feeling, wow, this is, I really learned something today. So I thoroughly, want to tell you, if you haven't ever had him, book him. He's really great.
Thank you.
So I'm in Bob's corner.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome, Bob.
All right. So we'll move on to the next set. Actually, Mike, are you there, Mike Smith?
Yes, go ahead.
Who's
Frank has his hand up.
Frank, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to contribute. I apologize for coming in late. I had a service guy arrive, just as it always happens when the meeting starts. But Bob, yeah, we love what you do. I'm Chris's amigo over at the Leisure World Computer Club, and we include every Monday morning in our meeting, your security update is a regular part of our program, and we would love to have you present for us as you've graciously suggested you would. But as Chris mentioned, that is the thing we wrestle with, is in that you're doing your show with Ron right concurrent with our timing. And we've kind of got, we had 62 people last Monday, and we kind of have them in the habit over 38 years of doing this at a certain time. I don't know that we'd be successful in trying to do the meeting at a different time on a different day. So it's
Which is why I'd said for Ron the one day, just simply run my video and let somebody else can let the people in. That's not that big a deal.
All right, no problem. We'll miss you, Bob. We'll miss you.
It's only for 1 week.
All right, all right.
We can work this out off the other without.
Yeah, we'll work it outside.
Yeah.
But we have the option of maybe starting at 8:30, which Arizona time, which would let Bob do you too.
Okay, so we'll work on that. Mike, I wanted to. I don't want to put you on the spot, but there's an important meeting this Wednesday, right, with APCUG?
Yes.
Do you want to discuss that? First of all, those of you who are not APCUG members, I know that Alan Schaefer, where's Alan? Where did Alan go? Oh, there he is. Yeah, they joined APCUG, and I think Mesa Regal joined as well. So if you're not an APCUG member, you should be. And this Wednesday they're going to have a meeting. Do you want to talk about what that is, Mike?
I have it on my calendar, Ron, but I don't have the agenda.
Okay, so it is a meeting in which they're going to discuss the value of APCUG and what suggestions you have for what they can do virtually in the next year. And so this is a good time if you want to attend the meeting. And you have some suggestions and things that you want APCUG to do for you. It's sort of an open roundtable discussion on that. So I would encourage you to attend and put your 2 cents with, because they've done, I think APCUG this year has done something that is outstanding. And they've I was mentioning earlier to Boyd, they've done these lecture series, and one of them was John Kennedy's on Linux, and that was just an excellent series. And we've got some on Bill James did home automation, Windows 10. They've done just an excellent job of these presentations that have all been taped. They're all on YouTube, and they can all be used in your club for presentations. So if you have any more suggestions on things that you think APC should be doing, this is the time when they're looking for your suggestions. And this is what Wednesday's meeting is about, I think. Am I not right, Mike?
Yes, that's true. I'm going to put in my chat to everyone my APCUG email. So if anybody has any questions or input, they can send it to me.
Sure. There's actually, a lot going on. Bob King got everything on our calendar there, but there's a lot of stuff happening every week. So it isn't as if, there's not a lot of content out there. There's a lot of content out there that people are doing, and you can use it all in your clubs. So I would encourage you to do that if you haven't already. I think Mike's the APCUG, our district representative. And so he'll put the link in the chat for you. All right. I thought I would just quickly go around the group, and if you could just unmute and just give us a brief talk on what your club's doing. If you have, are you just, if you're just in limbo, just say in limbo, just briefly. I don't want this to go on for a huge amount of time, but I thought everyone could just update us on what's happening with their own club. Do you want to start? Boyd, you're at my top left corner on my screen, so you can start. All right. Just unmute yourself. You're still muted. Boyd, you have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. I didn't realize it muted. We were meeting in the auditorium, and we only had about maybe 15, 20 people come, but they've closed the auditorium now because of the virus problem. And so now we're meeting only by Zoom.
Okay.
And I don't know how many people are going. I've had a little bit of trouble getting into that one from my house, but we are meeting by Zoom there, and 2 people are kind of running it, and it's worked out real good.
Okay.
And we won't, in the same way for our Linux meeting, since our community only allows people who live in the community to attend any meeting or to go to any of the whatevers.
Right.
So I've only got 2 or 3 people coming to my Linux meeting right now.
Okay. Okay. That's probably because they other parks come to your park.
Right. Our meeting usually had half and half from in and half from out.
Okay.
But the half from the out can't come now.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Carol, you want to give an update on?
Well, we just had our general meeting on Tuesday. Ron, what did we have? About 28 that attended the Zoom meeting?
Mhm.
And what I brought up was just the fact that we are not having nominations on an election. So without, having that, we're all club officers. Technically, our club is in limbo, frozen in time. So we're just going to go on as usual. And with Ron's help, as my wonderful program director, we're going to continue with our Zoom meetings and the programs that both he and Norb and our Tech for Senior programs that we're using. That's what we're using right now. I'm a little disappointed that we have so few, I think, going into our Zoom meetings. We're a club of over 200 people, but I think right now people just are not interested in plugging into Zoom anymore. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I think it just is what it is for now. And I'm not willing to just put our club on the shelf. So
Okay.
I don't know what else to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want to talk on Leisure World, or who do you want to talk for Leisure World? Unmute yourself.
I'm going to pass that to Frank. I'm going to pass it to Frank because he's our production and manager, and he keeps us going. So he can.
Frank, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. We in Leisure World, we've been meeting every Monday morning. We started off at 8:30 with a social, 15 minutes of social. We move into a business meeting from 8:45 to 9, and then we have program from 9 to 10. Thanks to Chris, principally, we've been serving up great video content at every one of these meetings. Our audience has been growing. We started this back November 1st, and I think we had, Chris, I don't know if you'd remember, I think we had 22 people at our first Zoom.
Yes.
We had 62 last Monday, and that's been the trend. It's been a straight up line. So Monday mornings with Zoom working great for us. We have a lot of challenges, kind of like Carol. Our board secretary has resigned. Our membership, the person that handled My Club Circle has resigned. And so we're having difficulty using My Club. We can't even get into My Club Circle to communicate with our members. Our computer center, we've always maintained a computer center with 8 or 10 PCs that are now very old and dated, and a little lab where residents can come in if they need to use a printer and a computer. The sewing ladies are trying to take our lab away from us and our computer center, and so we're at war with the sewing ladies here.
Ooh, that's a bad one. Don't get in a war with the sewing ladies.
They're a dangerous group.
They're a
Ron, I'm telling
dangerous
you.
group, I'll tell you.
But it's really caused us to take a hard look in the mirror, honestly, and say, do we really need a dedicated room? Could we realistically, now that everything is so mobile, if we had adequate Wi-Fi, could we surrender that room and really do our training in any room? Moreover, we're struggling with who would do the training because in our club, a lot of the long loyal members have moved away or died, and so we're struggling trying to find new energy and new people to come in and join the club. It's probably a challenge. Some of the people I talk to here tell me, you know, the computer club was a great thing, but it's outlived its usefulness. The new people that come in already know about computers, and the old folks, they don't want to know any more than they already do. And so that's a challenge that at least our club is trying to respond to in terms of reinventing ourselves, I guess, to respond to those people that feel that we've outlived our utility.
Okay, thank you.
One thing I can add about promotion, the reason I think we're getting the numbers we are is because Leisure World has a Google group that goes out daily, probably 150 maybe or more emails that go to the entire community of about 2,000 to 3,000 people. And so we put that promotion, or Frank does, thankfully, and try to put that out 2 or 3 days before the meeting, and we put it out every day, including the morning and the meeting with the link in it. And I think if we didn't have that available to us, we wouldn't have the number of people we do. That's all.
Lowell, do you want to give us a talk on the resort? What's happening there?
Okay, at the resort, things are pretty much on pause. The smaller club and what we've been doing is just piggybacking on what Silver is doing.
So everything's sort of at a standstill there.
Yeah, it's when you talk about Zoom for a little bit, I think the majority of people do not know how to use it. That's my feeling.
Some training, yeah.
And the reason why there's not a lot of activity.
Okay, so
But
training might be
that's
an
all
issue.
we got to say. It's just we're pretty much on pause.
Okay, Patricia, what about your? I think you're pretty active, aren't you?
Yeah, but I get kicked. They kick me every once in a while and make sure I'm still alive. We're still meeting via Zoom completely.
How many members? Like, how many do you get usually with the Zoom?
Mid 20s.
Mhm.
Mid 20s. The partnership with Microsoft is going well. A lot of people are attending those meetings. And if you want to, just go on our website and you have to register, computerbooters.org. That's about it. Just chugging down the path.
Okay, Mike Smith, how's things going at your club?
Well, Superstition Sunrise was sold to a resort corporation this past year.
Oh, really?
And we lost one of our 2 computer labs. Our club of 400 plus is not meeting at all, neither Zoom nor in person nor nothing. I have not heard hardly anything from anybody here about the club. The techs, I think some of them are meeting, but my congratulations to all of you who are meeting in one way or another.
Okay, you have a big club, very progressive. I speak there all the time, and it's always a lot of fun. And you got donuts. I love the donuts.
Yes, well, not this year. I'm Ron. I'm disappointed. I honestly am.
Yeah. All right, Bob. Do you want to talk, or do you want John to talk? Or do you want to talk about your club?
I can talk about it. We are not meeting either Zoom or in person. The park has still got facilities closed down. And the board's decided we're not going to do Zoom meetings. But I really would like that to change, but I don't know that there's enough support to change it. One thing that we did do, and Jerry Deal was responsible for it, is we did reach out to the Association of Unit Owners and asked them to basically, we offered them the opportunity to join our club. And so far we've had 30 people from that group that have opted to join the club this year. So the club is actually growing right now. We are putting out a bi-weekly newsletter that addresses news that's come up. We now are including like 45-minute to 60-minute presentations that people can watch on various subjects. We go from Windows to Apple to smart stuff to streaming, but there's 2 to 3 presentations every 2 weeks. We select and people can watch those. Our newsletter is divided up into the user groups that we've got. We've got a section for Apple, for the iPads, for the Macs, and for the PCs, and we pick current news that's come up over the last couple of weeks and include articles or short videos to any of those. We'll be sending out a newsletter on Sunday, and it's going to have a new section in it that's going to be all of the training that we would have normally offered in person. The people responsible for that training have gone out and found articles or videos that cover the topics that we had planned to cover in our classes or the meetings that we hold. So we will be putting that out for distribution and then adding that to the website so people can refer to it. So if anything, we're trying to replace what we would have offered in person with something that people can watch and view if possible. So that's probably it. John or Jerry, either one of you have anything you want to add to that? John?
No. Okay. Thanks, Bob. Sherry, do you want to, how are things going? What's happening? Are you meeting physically or just Zoom?
We are not meeting physically. We have not done a Zoom yet. I've kind of been dragging my feet and procrastinating a little bit too. So I'm just starting to get a schedule put together, and it will all be via Zoom meetings. Although I've considered looking at a couple of other video conferencing apps, because I've got a few of the people that actually help me do presentations and classes. Both will not use Zoom. They don't trust it. So, I mean, I can't change their mind. So anyways, I don't know what yet we're going to do. Maybe those people will just end up coming to my house since they won't use Zoom on their device. That's kind of where I'm at. But this is only our second year. It was a newly formed computer club when I moved here last year.
And as I said before, you should talk to Mike Smith or talk to, and work on that with APCUG.
Yeah.
I'm sure that APCUG has, I know Judy Tiller has helped clubs just starting, for as far as financial, because it's $50 for membership. I'm not sure what they can do for you, but you'll find a huge amount of resources. As a new club starting up, you really want to be a member of APCUG because they'll help you an awful lot.
Yeah. We also just had new management and owners take over the community at Dolce Vita.
Oh, okay.
So we so new that we really don't know much about them yet. They haven't even introduced themselves to us, even though they've been in the ownership now for about 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
There's just an interim general manager, so we don't actually even have a manager in for the community yet.
Okay. Thank you. Dawn, do you want to talk about how are you guys meeting at all?
Venture out.
Yeah.
Venture out.
Venture out.
Yes. Venture out what they're up to now. I'm not on site, so I'm just reporting this from information I get. The executive are meeting in person, the executive that are on site, and there's enough of them there to keep the club operating. But they're meeting in person because there's only a few people. In terms of activities for members, the center is open with significant restrictions on attendance, but it is open. The other activities for members, they're proposing to continue with training. They've got a few classes proposed in-house with a limit of 6 attendees, and they've got 2 of Katie Gertz's classes or sets of classes, which will be handled by Zoom. But that's the limit to the activities. How the classes are going or whether they're actually proceeding, I don't know. Their next executive meeting is on the 12th. So when I see the minutes from that, I'll know what's happening.
Okay, thank you. Alan.
Hey, good morning. We're a relatively new member of APCUZ-G. We are 10 months removed from having gotten rid of our builder. So we now have a brand new HOA. We're revising some of the CC&Rs and some of the bylaws to our advantage. We have a great facility here, which, as many of you have mentioned in your resorts, has been shut down for the duration. So all of our meetings are by Zoom. We are a net importer of resources. We have a lot of smart people here, but we create no original documentation that we can share with the world yet. So Bill, James, Terry Minnick, Ray Baxter, Bob, of course, and then Dr. Ron is a fixture at our place. He's here on a monthly basis doing what's new and great. We meet once a week on Wednesday. Our Zoom audience ranges, depending on the topic, anywhere from 25 to 45. And we have altered our bylaws recently to from a stricture imposed by the former builder will allow people from outside Sunland Springs Village to take part in our computer club. And also, by the way, we've also changed a stipulation that did not permit any officer positions from being held by anybody who was not a resident. So we're looking for talent wherever we can find it, because as I gather from many of you, people who want to stand for election willingly are few and far between. I think Carol had the right idea. I think we'll just freeze them in place and they won't be able to go anywhere. Now, we have no computer club center for equipment. Everybody has their own devices. They bring them all to the meetings. They're becoming very accomplished with their PDAs. We are moving to Chromebooks as borrow instruments for people who want to become relatively knowledgeable about Chromebooks. We're going to cash in some of our old gear and bring in the Chromebooks because, as I've been told, they are relatively bulletproof. We have hitchhiked on computer booters for a bunch of stuff. The problem being that their meeting and our meetings at 10 o'clock on Wednesday coincide. So we're trying to figure out how to best utilize them. The other problem with computer booters, maybe it's just a problem with me, is that whenever they post what they want us to join, the posting to our calendar can't be removed. So they're on there forever. If you have a delete function that
Posting to your calendar, I'm not sure what that means.
Our calendar, we gave them our website so they could send things to us, and they wanted to post to our calendar their events. When they post to our calendar, whatever they post is indelible. We can't get them off. So I'm going to have to try to figure out why that is. There's no remove, there's no edit option to remove what's on there for the to display the rest of the things we have going on Wednesdays.
What's your email, Alan?
AZJASCHAE@gmail.com.
Okay.
Hey,
We'll let you guys. I'll let
one
you-
second, please, Rob.
Yeah.
AZJASCHAE@gmail.
Correct.
Okay, I'll have our webmaster get in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Solve
Alan.
that.
Did we have Stan? Did we miss you, or are you with?
I'm with Visual World here.
Yeah, you're with.
And-
I think
yeah.
everyone has spoken. I don't think there's anybody that hasn't spoken. Okay, that's great. Okay.
I'm
Now-
in the lab right now, our computer lab. That's why I've had my mask on, if you were wondering.
Okay.
Hey, Ron?
If everybody's
Ron?
gone, so I can take it off.
Ron, could you let Ian Steve speak about the Viewpoint Genealogy Club? They're
Sure.
separate from the Tech Club, but they've been meeting, and I'd like him to cover some of that.
Okay. Ian, do you want to mention that?
Yeah, we're meeting every second week virtually using Zoom. We have a guest speaker coming this week, and so we're playing videos and do all sorts of training. Only 2 of our officers are on site at Viewpoint. We're lucky to have one of them as our training officer. So she's actually doing some one-on-one training on her patio type thing. So it's nice to have that opportunity. We're trying to keep the club going. It's a little challenging using Zoom because some of our members do not like Zoom for whatever past history issues were. But I'm a very big Zoom user, and I probably watch 4 or 5 Zoom webinars every second day type thing. So there's lots of things going on that try to keep up to date. But no, we're still active and getting a lot of positive feedback from our members that are attending.
Excellent. Thank you. That's good. Just a general sort of feeling. The nice thing about I think all of us are using all our resources, and I think these meetings for EVACC are helpful because I think everybody is using. We've all talked about resources that we're bringing in, which is great. That's good. So I think these meetings are valuable. We've never had 16 people sort of show up. So, I don't even know, Bob, if when we get back to physical meetings, we just may keep EVACC and Zoom meetings. What do you think? I mean, we don't ever get usually 16 people. It's pretty darn good. So, we'll see how things go. But for sure, we missed the socialization. Yes, Patricia?
Is anybody doing anything for, National Cyber Security Day on the 28th?
I'm going to be sending that out. Judy Toulour sent that out to me, and I'm going to be sending it out to all our groups. So, I mean, other than sending it out, I'm not sure what we're going to do.
Okay, so you didn't attend the webinar that they had a couple weeks ago? Okay.
I did not. Carol, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'd just like to make 2 comments. When each speaker speaks, could they just announce, because some I can remember, but some I can't, what club they're from?
Right.
And then secondly, I'd like to make a comment on what Frank Jacoby said about, which I totally am in agreement with. I know a lot of clubs feel that some computer clubs are out of date. We don't need computers and we don't need technology. I don't know what the reverberation is.
That's because Mike's got his TV on.
Someone else has got their mic on.
That's Mike. You've got 2 computers going probably at your place.
Well, I don't know.
No, Mike's computer is totally closed, is mute.
Okay.
But the technology, the point is that every computer club here will need to reinvent themselves. Technology will constantly be changing, constantly. It will never stay the same. And I think that's the point that I want to make. And that's the point we need to get through to our membership. Phones are changing every year.
Right.
You know, yes, Ron.
Well, I guess if I could just interject in there. I think that you're absolutely right. The technology is all different. And if you approach a computer club from the point of view of a computer and you're going to teach Word and Excel, of course you're going to fail, right? Nobody wants to know how to use Word and Excel, right? So if you want to talk about Zoom, or you want to talk about virtual reality, or you want to talk about, you know, the new cell phone 5G, man, you'll have lots of people that are interested, but they're not interested in learning how to use Word. So I think you have to choose the topics carefully so that you choose the topics carefully, so that, and then you'll have the interest. And that's part of what I do at Tech for Senior, and why we're so successful is because of the staff and all the people we have. We have a very forward thinking, you know, Huey's out there creating really good stuff, and we're looking at new technologies all the time, which people are interested in looking at, right? And so I think you have to look at that, because if you are going to use you know, the same old model of a computer club teaching Word, you know, it's just not going to work, right? The second thing,
you drop the word computer and you go with technology.
Yeah.
You know, you take Viewpoint Technology Club, Silvercom Technology Club, because that's the key word, technology, not computer. Because as soon as they get the word, seniors get the word computer in their brain, you know, they're thinking about their big you know, their big desktop on their, you know, their desk. We're way beyond that point.
Here at Dolce Vita, the name of our club is called Tech Ed.
Right. Tech education.
Right.
Good. Yep. Good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So those are all good ideas. The other thing I would say to everyone, I mean, we all know Zoom's safe. Zoom has made big changes and big strides, and I don't have any problem. It's encrypted from end to end. There is no trouble with Zoom. Zoom is now going to be on the Echo, the Portal, the Nest Home Hub, and within the end of the year, it'll be on all your televisions. It'll all be Zoom. We have Zoom Phone. I just did a training session now. There's several million people now using Zoom Phone, and it's just going to go on and on forever. It would be a big mistake to fall into the trap of saying, well, we're not going to do a Zoom meeting and we're going to use Meet or something else, because people, by and large, most of the people should know how to use Zoom, right? And Zoom is only going to be the standard, and I think personally is going to keep growing exponentially when you look at what's happening and what's going to, particularly this year. So please, if you like, I guess, Sherry, what I'm saying to you is, don't stand your ground, and don't back down on and go to something else. You know, do your Zoom, because it's,
well, and a lot of our community are used to using Zoom.
Correct.
Because we have a Monday morning Zoom meeting with the office via Zoom. So it's just that these two specific individuals just don't want to use Zoom.
Yeah, but
I can't convince them.
Yeah, and if that's just the way they are, that's just the way they are, right?
Right.
That's just, you're not going to convict them. You know, you're just not going to be able to convert them. But just, I would be really leery, and I would never want to do that and change that from. Now, the other thing that everyone should be thinking about, and if you're not this week on Monday on Tech for Senior, but the following Monday, we're going to have a special guest on there talking about streaming services. For those of you who are not aware, I mean, you can stream this is the year of streaming. And if you don't know what streaming is, basically you can pick up your phone and you can run a conference off your phone. You need no equipment. You can use your cell phone, and you can have we could have done this whole meeting today streaming. Well, we are streaming it really on Zoom, but you don't need anything. There's StreamYard is one of the software. It's free. So this is the year of streaming, and we're going to talk about that. That's going to be our show, not this week, but the following. So if you are interested in that, and that has significant effect for your club, because it makes it so easy to do training, do support, do whatever you want to do. Pick up your phone and you can run the whole conference right off your phone. So you know so you guys should all be aware of that, and make sure you watch our show, not this week but next week, when we have Michael Daniels on talking about streaming. And this will be the big year that we are going to be doing a lot of streaming.
I did want to mention something. I don't know if Ian is aware of this, but I do a lot of genealogy stuff, and Roots Tech this year is offering everything online free, their whole conference. So I'm really excited about that.
Sure,
Well,
yes, I am available. We distribute that to all our members.
yeah.
Two other things on Zoom, what I was thinking as we talked about Zoom. I was on a Zoom meeting where we had breakout rooms, which were
Yes.
quite interesting as well. We broke the big group of, I think it was 60 some people up into, I think 4 groups of 10, something like that, and talked about different items, then came back together and talked about it. So there's more and more things coming with Zoom.
Right.
And they've improved their security since the initial horror stories of last fall. And that I have no concerns about it, and there's so many benefits of it. We're using the chat to share files with each other. You can share a video or a file or whatever with each other on the Zoom call. So there's many, many features that we're learning more every day.
You can actually repair somebody's computer via Zoom.
Sure. Yeah,
Yes.
we are doing, in addition to the meetings every second week, we're doing Zoom calls with select groups if they want to talk about a special topic or maybe some help with the topic. We're having additional Zoom meetings with them. That's just a small group of maybe 2 or 3 people getting together with Zoom.
Right.
There's a lot of capabilities.
And
As
for
a club,
and for those people who say, well, there's nobody in my resort that will really teach or do anything anymore. That's true, but there are lots of people digitally in the virtual world who'll do that for you, and then free. So you can, it's just a matter of connecting with the resources, and you can have a world-class speaker like Bob come and talk to you about security, right? You don't have to have somebody in your unit, in your organization, that's an expert on security, that's going to create something and talk about security. Bob will come and do it for free, right? So you don't look within your community, look within our context, and look about all the people that are helping you, right?
as a club president, if you put your club on a shelf for the 2021, 2022 year, you're not going to have a club to come back to. Believe me.
Mm-hmm.
You can't afford to do that, members.
Mike, did you have a comment? You had your hand up.
One of the things that is the challenge for our clubs is a lot of people think that our clubs are a group of geeks and we know everything, and they're afraid to join when they don't know something.
Yes, that's for sure.
Frank has his hand up.
Yeah, Frank, did you want to mention?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. First of all, Ron, you and Bob and your whole team, you're a beacon for us, and we'd be lost without access to you and what you do on Monday mornings. Thanks for that. The comment I wanted to make is that as I listen to, and I'm new to all this, so these words may not be appropriate, but this is, as a new person, this is what I see. I see a group of clubs that are struggling. Some of it due to COVID, some of it, I think, just due to changes in the world. And I see some clubs that have a great newsletter. I see some clubs that are great at genealogy. I see some clubs that are great at this and others that are great at that. But we're islands, and we all have limited resources and limited energy. And so my dream would be that somehow we would, in a perfect world, there'd be a holding company, which would be the East Valley Association of Computer Clubs, I guess. And it would be the place where there'd be a repository. So if I'm a club and I want a good newsletter, any of our clubs could pick that newsletter right off of the East Valley Association website and send it to their members. They wouldn't have to invent their own resources to do a newsletter. Programming, there'd be a Dropbox, or there'd be an East Valley where I can tell you that Chris and I and Walt Pincus, we spend a lot of time looking at videos trying to find good content. And I think we find them, but we had to look at a lot of stuff to find them. Wouldn't it be nice if there was one repository where all of our members put the videos we've seen and think are great, so that our member clubs don't have to look at all of them? They can look at a final list. So I don't want to burden you with all the details of it, but just a notion I have in my mind, a thought. And I don't know how we would get to that, or how we might proceed, but I just want to plant that seed.
So Frank, that seed we've talked about for many years at EVACC, and I think that's all true what you said. I guess what Bob and I feel, and I think Bob, you can comment if you don't agree with this, but I think we both agree on this, is that's true, but really the organization that does that better and has more resources is APCG. And they have all those resources. In fact, Judy Toulour sends out newsletter. She sends out content for your newsletter once a month. It's got a whole bunch of articles in there. It's all being peer reviewed, and you can just simply slip that into your newsletter. They do web hosting for clubs. They have all sorts of resources there on their website, and it's all done. That they have all that now. So I'm not sure that our small group here, we can put that amount of time into those resources for EVACC. Do you agree with that, Bob?
One of the things that I've been doing is making sure that I forward a copy of the newsletter that we're putting out to the EVACC forum. Right. That way everybody at least gets a copy to it. It's a PDF file, and a link to that PDF file is going to be in the forum after it goes out. So anybody else that's doing a letter, just include the EVACC forum as part of your distribution list.
Well, hold on. Whoa. Do you guys really want that? Because I send out two newsletters a week for our club, and I send two newsletters a week out for Tech for Senior. That's 4 I just do, and I'm happy to put the forum on as a recipient of those, but it's going to put a flood of email out there on that forum. Does everyone really want that?
I was talking about the clubs. Newsletters from the clubs, Ron.
Well, I send 2 a week out from Silvercom CTC.
That's the driveway.
I send 2 out a week, so if and I don't, other clubs are sending out, I'm not sure. I think we need to think about that. I haven't done that. I know you've done it once or twice, but I'm just worried that if all the clubs do that, man, we're going to have a lot of information going out on that. Anyway, it's 11:15. We're 15 minutes over. I just wanted to close. We'll talk about that. That might be a topic for next month. But I wanted to close. I was going to talk about playlists for YouTube. You asked me last week to do that, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send everybody a video on it. I'll post the video which explains all about playlists, how they work, and so on and so forth. However, let me just tell you that whoever was reviewing and talking, Frank, I think, was talking about looking at videos and figuring out which ones they want. The one thing that you have to remember about playlists is that you can collaborate with playlists. In other words, and the video will explain how to do this, but when you make a playlist that has your YouTube videos that you want to watch on it, the list is just a website. It's an embedded website, and you can take that and you can embed that website. So if I take this and I want to just share, I'm just going to share my screen briefly for this. I'll just show you. And I'm just going to share this. And if I come over here and we go to, let's just bring up here. And if we bring up the Tech for Senior website, and if we come over now and we come over at the top and we come over to Tech for Senior here, and we'll just bring this up. And you'll see the link here, and you'll see the link, it says past episodes. So all as I've done is I've taken the, and if I click this, I click that, you will see now the play, this is actually just a playlist that brings up, and this brings up all the, come on, there you go. And it brings up all the Tech for Senior, all of Tech for Senior episodes. So all is, it's just, if you look up at the top here, this is the URL that you would embed into your website, and that would bring up all those. So not only that, but you could have it so you could collaborate. So for example, Frank could say, I'm going to add all the Chromebook videos that I like, that I think would be good for our club. Chris Krasinski could also be a collaborator, and anything he saw, he could add that. And then the playlist would just be on your website as an embedded link. And so all your videos that you found through the year would automatically get updated and added to your club. So you don't actually have to copy each video title onto the website and do that. So I thought I would just show you that. I will send the video. It's a great video, and it's about 10 minutes long and explains everything. I don't need to go through the whole thing right now with you. And besides, it's 11:20, so we're 20 minutes over. But anyway, so I'll just send that out to everybody and you can watch it. But just remember, the collaboration is really important for your club, because you can have 2 or 3 people looking at videos, and you can say, gee whiz, okay, we'll peer review them, and then we'll just put them onto the list, and then they automatically get updated to your website. Okay. Does anyone have any final comments before we go? Anybody want to say anything? Our next meeting will be on February 13th. Is that Valentine's Day? What's February 13th? Is it
14th?
14th is not the day before Valentine's.
14th is Valentine's, Ron.
14th. All right. So we got another. So it's the day before Valentine's.
Yeah.
Well, thanks,
Brian,
Ron. A good
remember
meeting.
when Valentine is.
Pardon me?
You better remember when Valentine's Day is.
Well, you guys remind me on the 13th, right?
We will.
You guys remind me.
Yeah.
Remind me on the 13th. That'll give me time to go out and get something for Gail, right?
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. Great meeting, guys.
Thanks,
Okay.
everybody. Bye.
All right, you guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye
Thanks,
now.
Ron. Good meeting.
Stay
Bye-bye.
safe.